Hi guys, it's Mary McIntyre. Welcome to part 3 of my Halloween prop making video. I am entering this into a competition that Monster Tutorials is running, but I would have had a ton of fun making this regardless of whether there was a competition involved. In part 1, if you missed it, I made a skeleton from 2 1 metre lengths of pipe lagging, so it's a really great way of making an upper body skeleton for probably under £10 easily, so that was a great deal of fun to do. In part 2 I actually corpsed all of that, so kind of adding flesh and skin on top of it, also beginning to mould the kind of features within a face on a polystyrene head. So if you missed those 2 videos, I will link them up here and in the description box below. So this is the third and final part. So this is primarily painting and adding finishing touches, weathering, all of that kind of thing, getting the framework together for how I'm going to display the prop, clothing that it's going to wear. So you'll probably see from the video that the prop I've decided to make is a zombie clown, because that's going to fit in with a kind of haunted fairground theme I'm hoping to pull off this Halloween. I don't know if I'm going to do it, but I'm having a great deal of fun making this zombie clown, so hope you enjoy the video. Let's get started. So this is my plan for the lower half of the body of the clown. I have bought a 3 metre length of pipe, and it is a pipe that is a diameter just a bit smaller than the pipe lagging that I've used to make the skeleton. So basically each leg will be 1 metre each, so I'll cut 2 1 metre lengths. With what's left, I'm going to basically make kind of like a narrow hip thing, and I've got a T-piece here, elbow pieces in the corners, and this bit will be long enough to slide the torso over, and then a bit sticking up at the end here for the polystyrene head to sit onto. So the great thing about this is it will all come to pieces and not have a very big footprint for storage. This guy's been curing for quite a few days now, so it's probably as cured as it's going to get. He looks pretty horrendous right now. It'd be cool if he was, I don't know, corpsed or burns victim or something, but this is going to be a clown. So one thing I did with these teeth is trim them down a little bit, because I'm just not a fan of these so-called comedy teeth that are poking fun at people who may actually not be able to genuinely afford dentistry. So these are the most normal teeth that I actually had, and I didn't want to make my own from thermoplastic, so they'll do. I might trim them down a little bit more than that, but basically the plan for this is to paint everything white first, but in a kind of muddy white. I want it to be a zombie clown. He's had white face paint on, but it's all getting scuzzed up, and so I'm just going to do it with a sponge and some white acrylic paint. And hopefully that will cover, and then I'll go through and kind of shadow and do the clown's actual face painting. I think I know what I'm going to do there. I've got some ideas, but I'm just kind of going to dabble this on. So I'm not worried about making it kind of a pure white coat, because I want it to look gnarly. And once the paint's on, you see more of the structure in the sculpting that I did with the latex. So I'm hoping this paint will cover. Probably going to need some layers, but I quite like the texture with the sponge. So I've mixed up a kind of pinky flesh tone, a pale pinky flesh tone. I'm going to go over this with one coat. I'm not sure this is exactly the right shade that I need, but I'm going to be going over the top of it stippling anyway, so this is just to get a layer of colour on top of the latex. So hopefully it won't look too much like strawberry yoghurt, which it does in the pot. Now have two different shades of paint. One of them, there you are. I've deliberately not mixed it up properly, so it's a mixture of white and green sort of marble, which I made by putting green and black in with some titanium white, and this is a kind of sludgy grey colour to kind of go in between the ribs and just add some depth to this, because it's all very one-dimensional right now. The greeny white stuff I'm going to stipple with some of this stuff. It's actually filter wool from a fish tank, but it's really kind of holy texture, which is really good for stippling. And I've got a cup of coffee there, and I'll try not to put my paintbrush in my cup of coffee. So here we go. Okay, that first green was way too green, so I've mixed up some more and just put a tiny bit of that first mixture in with more white, so I'll see how that looks. Right, I'm going to do some of the bruising around the tears in the flesh. I've made up with acrylic paint like my own version of a bruise wheel, and I'm just going to use sponges and brushes to try to get the texture of kind of plaques on the skin that are rotting and sore. I'm going to practice on the back first. I've not done this for a while. So my back's hurting, I need to sit down. So yeah, around here where the natural tears formed when I caught this, that's what I'm going to work with here. So very underneath, I think, black first. Right, I've come in from the cold where I was painting the torso. I've got the same colours in my palette here, and I'm going to do the bruising and plaques on this head, even though I haven't actually done the clown makeup yet, purely because I've got all the colours mixed up here, and I think it'd be good to get them so that they're the same colour as the body. So I'm going to make a start with this big one on the head that I cut a hole in the latex and cut a bit out. So it's a boiler coming on. Yeah, I cut a hole in the latex and sort of pulled it apart so that there was like an open wound here. So paint the inside of that black. I thought I'd finished last night, but I have decided that the wool for the hair is spoiling this, so that's going to go. I have a couple of old wigs that I don't use. I actually really like the blue because it matches the dungarees and the eye makeup, but I actually really like this wig, and although I never wear it because it's a bit thin at the back, I was intending to get some other wefts and try to make that something I will wear. This one I will never wear. So what I'm going to do is take the wool off. I've already sectioned off the top of this wig, which I'm going to chop. Then I'm going to glue this stuff down, and I'll trim it, and I'm going to glue more hair along the top to hide the stitch lines. This is a really cheap, nasty wig, so yeah, doesn't look great on, so I'm probably never going to wear this, as much as I love red hair. So I'm going to rip off this wool, trim the wig down, hot glue it on, and hopefully that will make it look a lot better and more like real hair. I think I was intending for this to look kind of curly and floofy, but it just doesn't really work. So try to take that off without pulling off all the paint, but it is going to get covered up anyway. I came up with the design to make some clown shoes. So it was quite a simple design. This is just the basic framework. I haven't paper mache'd over this yet. What I did is use one of my kind of crystal ball galaxy things, which are really, really cool. And I just basically scrunched paper around that and held it with masking tape. Stuck that onto a sole, and then that kind of come over like this and basically form a very basic clown shoe shape. The actual legs from my clown are probably going to be involved with the way that he stands up. So these are going to be kind of probably placed on the floor in front, or I may make a hole in them. Haven't decided yet about that bit. I just wanted to make these shoes so that they, you know, they look like clown shoes essentially. So I'll just time lapse this so you can see how I made it. It's really handy having something round like this that you can kind of bunch stuff over. So just some final finishing touches here. I've found a really old white top, which is kind of grey now, it's so old. I've torn it up so that you can see the torso through it, but at the moment, although it's not bright white, all the bits around here just need to be weathered a little bit. The dungarees that he's wearing are actually my dungarees, which I want to wear, so I don't want to paint those and ruin them, but his bow tie definitely can get kind of scuzzed up a little bit. So it's just a case of getting some very sort of dark, dull, monochromatic colours, dry brushing the edges of the fabric to just make them look weathered and dirty, really. So yeah, hopefully it'll be okay, it'll work. So I'm going to start off on the t-shirt, I think, just using some shades of grey and maybe a bit of black, but I'm going to primarily dabble all of the paint off the brush. I'm using a really old stiff brush for this, which is great for dry brushing because it's had glue on it, and also it's really coarse, so it doesn't give you an even paint, which is just what you want.
So I hope you enjoyed this 3-part video series. I've had so much fun building this guy. So this is Crusty the zombie clown. I have never built anything quite like this before, kind of from the bones up, essentially, to produce a freestanding full-size prop. So I feel like I've learned a lot on the way. There are a few things that I could improve on if I did this again, but overall I'm really happy with how it turned out. One thing that really stands out for me, first of all, the chin could do with being a bit bigger, so another layer of kind of latex paste to do that would have been good. Also, I love the weathering on the clothing, and particularly the bow tie that I made out of the same fabric that I made these dungarees out of. Now, I really like these dungarees. I made them last year and I want to wear them, but if I kind of dirty them up with something that stains them, they're going to get ruined. But I'm thinking I'm going to have to sacrifice them because the bow tie looks amazing the way that it's weathered, and I think it really would look better if I just at least made the pockets seams dirty or something. I wish I could dirty them with something that I would be confident would wash out, but I don't know what that product would be. So anyway, I still think he looks great. The shoes could do with being a little bit bigger and more bulbous and more clown-like, but you know, I don't think anyone's even going to notice that he's got shoes when faced with a 6-foot-tall terrifying clown. I don't think people are going to be looking at his feet. So yeah, so I've really enjoyed this, and I thank you so much for the love on the part 1 and 2, because like altogether this has been a crazy long video when you add them all up together. So yeah, it's been really good fun and I've loved doing this. So this is my entry for the prop mob challenge. I probably have 0 probability of winning and I really don't mind. I've just really enjoyed doing this, and I do have a lot more work to do, and hopefully I'll be able to bring those videos that are Halloween themed to you before Halloween. I've got quite a few things I'm working on to try to create my haunted fairground themed garden this year. So yeah, the big prop that I'm working on I'm so excited about, so hopefully I'll be able to bring that video to you, and possibly a couple of other small Halloween themed things as well. So until the next video, take care everyone, stay safe, and I will see you in the next one. Bye for now.